Welcome back to another Black City coffee vlog. In this coffee break series, I wanted to answer a couple questions. I wanted to talk about permits. I've been getting this question a lot since the beginning, and I really wasn't comfortable talking about one because it's kind of like one of those questions that is it depends. And that doesn't really make for a good video because then I end up rambling a lot more, but whatever, let's just give it a go. And I want to share with you some news and stuff like that. So if you're new to this channel, I typically use coffee break, the coffee break series, to just talk and rant and have conversations about coffee, answer questions, bring about new stuff, whatever. Let's first answer the question to just kind of kick stuff off. So this question is from Anna. I want to say thank you for your YouTube channel. Thank you. Showing new roasters like myself your journey from the hot top to now has been inspirational. Thanks. So much so you helped me take the plunge to finally go after my coffee roasting dreams during the heart of the pandemic. Wow. I'm a trained barista who is pursuing my passion for roasting. Cool. I've done everything I could to get my business up and running, but here in Texas, there are so many rules and regulations about selling out of your home. I'm now at a standstill until I obtain a commercial space. I've yet to come across a vlog about your experience finding the funding and getting permitted. You're in Cali, right? Yes, I am. Chino, California. To do so, and would greatly appreciate any advice or speed bumps you've hurdled over to push through. I've already invested so much of my own money. I feel extremely lost now because it's just me. You're such a welcoming personality online, and thank you for reaching out. Cool. Anna, thanks for your question, and thanks for such nice words. I appreciate that very much. I received that. Okay, so I'm sorry you're at a standstill. That sucks. And I'm sorry my answer right now is not going to be exactly what you want to hear, I think. And I don't think my answer is going to help me very much, honestly. But here's my take on it, okay? If you want my 2 cents. Where do you find the money or the funds? You talk about funding first. Okay, so funding. Let's talk about funding. Yeah, we're totally, it's out of our pocket. I didn't get any loans or anything like that. And running a business out of our home is something we're very used to. We've been doing it for our main business, which is a wedding photography business. Obviously, right? I mean, we can run that out of our home. But we did have a studio space, which is gone now due to COVID. But running it out of your home for us in California, I'm in Chino, California, is nothing. It's nothing in terms of overhead, okay? For a roastery and in doing online sales only out of your home is a little bit more pricier here, but it's a home operator's permit. It's a food permit. It's a food handler's permit. It's a business license. It's a sole proprietorship for me, not an LLC yet. And then it's just the cost of your assets, which is basically your roaster, your green coffee, and your packaging supplies and shipping supplies and stuff like that. And then, of course, marketing material, online presence, social media presence. That's it. That's all it takes for me on my end. That's the whole transparency of it all. So the cost for me is quite low in terms of how did I find the funding. The roaster obviously is the most expensive part of this whole thing. $8,000-ish, give or take, you know, a couple things, couple accessories. You got to get a table. You've got to figure out venting. You have to get a propane tank. You have to get all the accessories for your roaster. Branding, things like that. Yeah, about $8,000, maybe $9,000, and we had that in funds, and we were comfortable with that, and we just put it on a credit card. And as far as the green, you know, that's probably the next most expensive thing because it costs me about, and I source right now everything from Bodie and a farm called Sampray Verde Farms, and that cost me about, let's see, maybe $2,000, something like that. Maybe $2,000 for green or something, for a couple of half bags. You know, I'm not even giving full bags, you know. The cost, the funding, pretty low in terms of starting a business, you know. And plus I had a lot of carryover items already in terms of like marketing material, like say cameras and equipment and computers and all the little things, right? So we had a lot of carryover stuff from our other business. I'll tell you right now, if you haven't seen this, I'm sure if you're a fan of the channel, you should have seen that this is a very, for now, expensive hobby. In my mind, I call it a business. I treat it as a business. I present as a business and a professional entity, but we are not making money yet. I mean, and I say that truthfully, honestly, in that, you know, it's not enough to pay my mortgage. You know what I mean? It's not enough to to live off here in California where the rent is too damn high. You know what I'm saying? So for now, I'm just trucking away and building what I can, which is brand awareness, marketing, and of course, number one, nailing down my number one skill, which is can I roast coffee well and consistently. So that's my story, and that's how we're operating, okay? If you're planning on making coffee your thing, but you can't afford or you don't know that you have a good product yet, maybe you should try that first. You know, if you're at a standstill to take the next step, a lot of times that means you just got to backpedal a little bit. And a lot of times in our minds, I think we think we're failures, or we think, or we feel demotivated, you know, because we want to always keep moving forward. But talk to any seasoned entrepreneur. The line to success and the line to winning is not, you know, a straight line. It's a very muddled, backward stepping, forward stepping, meandering line. So don't take this standstill as something demotivating. Yes, it can be in the moment, but look at it as an opportunity to test your product. That's what I would do if I were in your shoes. I would see, like, dude, is my product even worth it? Like, a lot of times we don't want to look at our baby and say it's ugly or it doesn't taste good, or, you know what I mean? Like, that, oh, we made that, you know, and we have a lot of heart and ego and attachment, emotional attachment wrapped into what we created. And a lot of times newbie creators who are not seasoned entrepreneurs, who aren't used to failing, quote unquote, may get discouraged by that, right? So maybe kind of like what you're going through right now. But I would totally look at that as an opportunity to test my product, right? Am I good enough roaster to sell? If you can sell $400 worth of coffee, because in California, you don't have to report more than $400 of your side hustle, right? So if you can sell $400 of your coffee to not friends and family, to like complete strangers, that's how I would gauge it. And they have a good, you know, rapport, you have a little brand going, you know, start there first, and then maybe you'll feel motivated to, like, if you have to go get a loan, you have real numbers and real proof to go and get that loan, and maybe to show the bank if they want to see your business plan and they want to see your number projection and all that stuff, to go get your loan and go fund that commercial space, right? So I feel like I only know a little bit of your story, but if you feel like you've done everything you can, typically you haven't. You have, because obviously when you go and ask somebody else and they can give you an outside opinion, and maybe you have done all this stuff already, and if you have, then like, psh, I'm just, you know, again, this is just my 2 cents. I don't know everything. Then sorry, you know, like, try to get another outside perspective. But that's what I would do if I was in your shoes, and I'm reading your words, and I'm taking that at face value, and I'm approaching and answering your question at face value, right? So let's take a break. I want to break it down with you, some news. So if you haven't already heard, you're not following me on IG, it's Black City Coffee Roasters. We just got all of our Colombian sugarcane decaf from Palo Rosa, Tolima region. It tastes fantastic. You know, Tim from Bodhi Leaf, who I source from, said, hey, there's some riots going on in Colombia, It's a hot mess over there. We can't get to that sugarcane decaf that you wanted, which was from Jericho region. And I was like, dang it. And he's like, but I have this one, who's a different producer, different farmer, but it's also sugarcane decaf. Try this. And I said, okay. And then I talked to Jared from Hasea Coffee. I said, I'm about to make my decision on this decaf, and it needs to happen pretty quickly because I kind of told everybody I would have a decaf by June. And it's almost mid-June. And he's like, cool, let me send you this Honduras honey processed mountain water decaf. I was like, whoa, okay, cool. He's like, it's the best decaf I ever tasted. I was like, yeah, send that to me. And send me your Swiss water decaf stuff. And you know what? I've had a lot of Swiss water decaf from Mexico, from Honduras, from Colombia now. And all of them, maybe it's my fault, but they all fall flat. They all taste very hollow to me. They taste like a decaf would, empty, hollow, which I don't like. And I feel like the only way to really appreciate a Swiss water decaf is to roast it full city plus, something like that. And then you're gonna turn it into white coffee. But I don't do that. This mountain water honey processed decaf from Honduras, it was delicious. It was juicy, but I thought it was too juicy. I thought it was too bright. I liked it personally. It was fantastic. It was right up my alley and what I like, but I had to look to what my customers like, and most of y'all don't like that stuff. And I think because, I don't know, I don't have a lot of super light drinkers yet. Just not yet. Most of you in the analytics, in the stats, are drinking full city stuff, maybe like city plus stuff, you like that. And when you do drink city stuff, it's really grounded with a lot of, with a good body, you know what I mean? So you don't really like light bodied stuff. For those of you in my customer analytics and stuff, you don't really like light bodied stuff. You like to feel like you're drinking coffee, I assume. All right, so I went with the Colombian sugarcane decaf from Palo Rosa, which I cupped against everything else, and it was fantastic. So much depth, right? And I can roast this coffee to a City Plus level, which satisfies my own artiste, whatever. You know, I hate I hate to bring something that's so like rich and full of flavor and kind of like roast all the nuance out of it. It satisfies me, and I feel like it's gonna satisfy you guys, okay? And if you had the chance to try the first Colombian sugarcane decaf, you're really gonna love this one. So that is here in the bag, in stock, ready to ship. We are just waiting for the new labels. So of course I had to make new labels, and they're just gonna take a little while to come in. So probably around June 14 to 19, once I know I got the labels in the bag, I'm gonna open it for sale on the site, and then you can get this really fantastic decaf, okay? And thank you for your patience. Next, I wanted to tell you guys about some of the adjustments that I'm making in my roasting practice. So, kind of straying away from the Rowism of stuff, and no shade to him. I'm just saying that I need to carve my own path, I need to find my own way, and need to understand coffee in my own way. What I've been doing is charging lower, keeping my 1 minute soaks. And by charging lower, I mean I'm not going above 370 anymore. And that's allowing me to just have more control over the mid phase and coming into the mid phase, because I feel like I was having a lot of momentum. Say sometimes when I charge at like 380 for my higher elevation coffees, I was just coming into the mid phase too quickly and not giving myself the best means of control to extend it or to make it shorter if I wanted to, right? So just starting with a little too much momentum. My drum speed's still at a 70 RPM. I listen for the ch 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 of the beans in the drum rotating that steady choo-choo train. Something that Derek taught us in roasting class. My airflow, this kind of blew my mind. You guys seen this in the like non-commentary vlogs. Basically my low was actually a 40, not a 45. Okay, not a big difference. My medium was a 50, and I get kind of like a medium airflow from 50 to 60. So depending on how the ROR is acting, I can increase or decrease that. But I usually, when I hit yellow, I put it on 50, so a medium airflow. And then when I start to hear outliers, I start to increase my air. So it's either going to be a turn to the dial to like 65, 70, and I'll just keep increasing the air as I feel needed after first crack. So to reiterate, when I first start hearing outliers, so pop, pop. So I'm like, okay, it's approaching. It's probably like 7 minutes 30. I start to increase the air a little bit there just to kind of get things going, to wisp away the smoke and all that stuff and that explosion of energy. And then when it's kind of like a rolling first crack, I will increase the air again by maybe like another, I don't know, 5 hertz or something. So it goes to like 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. So I kind of just gauge it. And with my machine, you can kind of tell by the sounds, like nee, 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 you know. So in a tonal gauge. And then I also have the lighter with me, and I'm checking always to see how much, you know, this dial is actually doing. So that's something I've also changed, which is now I keep the lighter near the roaster so that I could check what the airflow is when it's empty and when it's full. After revisiting that video, after I made my video about airflow for Dane, and I was like, I think I should check that more often, you know, just to kind of see. And I think it's a good practice. It's a good practice for me, just to see what's going on at different times during the roast, how my airflow is changing and stuff. And if it hasn't changed, I'm like, cool, whatever. And if it does, or it's significant, then I make a note of that. On my roast path, I have, I'm playing more a little bit with the ROR data curve reporting. And I've changed it to report every 30 seconds. In hopes of trying to get a little bit more lead time on the ROR as it changes, because I want to be able to look at ROR and know, is my roast running too fast at this point in time, or is it too slow at this point in time, and kind of gauge my roast based on ROR. And its influence on bean temperature. So that's what I'm kind of playing with right now. I don't feel like I have a great handle on it. I'm working with it. And I took out smoothing by at least 70%. So my curves aren't like this pretty like little thing. I want to see all the little incremental changes that are not, you know, I'm not trying to make a pretty graph. I'm trying to roast really good coffee. So I'm just trying to use my tools in the best way possible to really see my own flaws and when I make certain changes in the roast and what it's really actually doing. So I don't want to put a mask on stuff, you know, just to make it look pretty. That was a pretty good coffee break. I hope you pick something up from there. You know, sometimes maybe I say something that can help you in your journey roasting, just like how I would pick up something from the millions of things that Derek or Lauren or Steve or Jared could say. You know, sometimes it's over my head, but sometimes I'll hear a little gem, and it just makes me understand even further. So hopefully I'm doing that and passing the torch for you in some way or another. A lot of great orders over the weekend. Thank you for that, and we will see you in the next one. See ya. And I also discovered that if I can cut my last phase, the final phase, the development phase, off before 2 minutes, and maybe it's like 145, 150, 155 like that, and I'm before 2 minutes, I can preserve more acidity and more brightness in the cup if I need to. Like, say my mid went longer than I wanted, right? That means I'm going to have to adjust my third phase to kind of like compensate. And the way that I look at it now, it's kind of like the photographer's wheel. So we have ISO, aperture, and shutter speed, right? You can change one and it will affect this and it will affect that. So kind of the same thing with roasting, I feel, in the first, second, and third phases of roasting. It's like, well, if I did this over here in this phase, something's got to happen in this phase to kind of like compensate for that, right? So it's pretty cool. That's how I'm kind of make these parallels between, you know, my first expert skill, which is in photography, to this. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, that was just my little bonus tip. Okay, bye.